So hydrangeas are tricky. I've got a little bit of everything in my yard, including multiple kinds of hydrangeas, everything from big leaves to, which are not doing quite as good, to oak leaf, and I have a ton of panicle hydrangeas. These are my oak leaf hydrangeas, and they are struggling a little. The middle one on both sides has just been absolutely puny. That one little twig right there is still alive. The other four are doing great. So I really don't know what to make of that, other than I just may need to replace them with something that's going to do a little bit better than that. But I think for this area, this is a pretty shady spot that gets morning sun, so I figured this would be a good little barrier. I don't want a complete wall here, but I would like to have a little bit of privacy back here somewhere. And then some of my big leaves, they weren't doing so great, so I potted them, and they weren't doing good where I potted them at, so I decided to move those. So here are three. They are bloom struck, and then there's another one on the other corner. They have coleus and some creeping jane, just a few different things in there, but they were just dried up twigs, and now they're actually looking pretty good. I absolutely love gardening. My yard is pretty much my whole world, and I have a little bit of everything out here. I love hydrangeas of all kinds. I have a lot of rows of Sharons, a lot of perennial hibiscus. I even have one that I dug straight out of the swamp, so it's a true swamp mallow. I have hydrangea trees. I have Confederate roses, which are like a cousin of hibiscus. I have some knockout roses down in the front, cannas, cone flowers, just a little bit of everything. And I'm nursing a back injury right now, so there's a lot of stuff I haven't been able to get done. So I have at least mowed and weed eated, and I'm walking on my cane today. So there's a lot of stuff I can't quickly show you, but I want to show you around just a little bit. This first area is what started off as a little bed turned into a full-blown hydrangea bed. I have cannas with cone flowers and 3 hydrangea trees down through here. These have, there's Limelight Prime, Quick Fire, Little Quick Fire, Firelight Fab in this bed. There's the cone flowers, and these are actually blanket flowers that got huge this year. Very odd for being first year in the ground. And this was kind of trial and error thing. I think next year I'm going to pull the canna bulbs up and move them back. I feel like they're so far forward, they're going to kind of suffocate my hydrangeas out, and these are all first year in the ground, so I want to make sure that everything has room to grow. This is a Limelight Prime tree, and then down here at the end, overlook the messy stuff on the back porch. We're redoing some stuff. These are early evolution hydrangeas. They bloomed super early this year and just beautiful. And down through here, the rest of these are a combination of bobo and pufferfish. I think there's actually only 2 pufferfish, but the rest are bobo. And they've actually done a lot more than I anticipated for just going in the ground this year. I think these were 3-gallon containers, where there's a little one on each side that was a 1-gallon. They are just now starting to put off some buds, but and then there's a limelight tree. So throughout the yard, there's just a little bit of everything. This is one of my rows of Sharons that a friend actually gave me. I've got several that he gave me. This is a baby lace hydrangea. I had never heard of baby lace and decided to give it a shot. This was going to be my big raised bed flower bed, and part of the way through the season I decided I really didn't want to do that anymore. I wanted to fill it with stuff that I loved. So you have angel trumpets and hibiscus surrounding it and a banana tree. And then on the inside, I put a berry white hydrangea tree, and there's a panicle hydrangea on each side. I can't remember the name. It was a cultivar I'd never heard of. And then the hibiscus that are on the inside, two of those are proven winners, the two in the middle. The other four that are in here are a cultivar that came from that specific nursery. But I just think that these hibiscus are blooming so beautiful. This one actually had full blooms on it yesterday, but the blooms are quite smaller than I expected. Most of these are like dinner plate size. And I think this one is the watermelon ruffles, maybe. Just very beautiful. My angel trumpets, this is their first year in the ground, and they're doing good. I think the largest one is about 3.5 feet tall. And then one of our newer additions, this is a pinky winky tree. I got this one in a 5-gallon container. It was the smallest one that I have bought other than the limelights. All the limelights come in smaller containers this year. But I couldn't say no, especially after I found another one. So most everything I do is in pairs or triples. Here we have just a row of hibiscus. We have the summer carnival on each side. And then I cannot remember the name of those to save my life. If I could get down there, I would tell you the name, but I cannot bend today. This is a butterfly bush called honeycomb, and I'm extremely anxious to see what it looks like. And then these are quickfire fab trees with a wigella in the middle. My partner came home with that as a surprise for me. It was something I'd talked about but just hadn't bought. So I made it like a centerpiece there with the trees around it. Behind this is a whole row of berry white hydrangeas. And two of them on the very, very end have already turned red to a brown. The rest of these are white with starting to get pink. My first focal point in my yard was actually this berry white tree. I bought it at a nursery in Knoxville. I paid a lot of money for that, and I fell in love with it. It just was barely starting to sprout any leaves when I bought it. So I paid a lot of money for it, and I'm very proud that I did. It's been the best one that I've had so far. So I have two of them in the yard now, but this is the bigger one. This one is the focal point. This is one of my butterfly bushes called Black Knight. I have 3 of these in the yard. There's another one down there and one behind me. Another row of hibiscus, and that is the bigger pinky winky tree, which I think was in like a 10-gallon container. Most of these trees were in very, very large containers. That is my Confederate rose right there, one of them. There's another smaller one on this back side that you can barely see. But it may or may not bloom this year, but I'm just excited to have gotten one. And it's kind of the same thing on this side. We've got all of our limelight hydrangeas around, and then that's a red column or a red pillar rose of Sharon, and then we call this the canna bed. It's almost comprised of all cannas, and there's a bunch of coneflowers in there. 3 of the smaller old-fashioned types of hibiscus. There's the other butterfly bush. So when you walk out in my yard, this is what you see.